Welcome everyone to Trip's art class. Today we're going to be doing a sci-fi character themed drawing. I'm using the iPad Pro, using the app Procreate. Hopefully you are sketching away in your sketchbooks. And I'm going to be using my trusty blue pencil, my blue lead pencil. So you can use just your regular pencil. I'm just going to do this to help make these pencil marks stand out. So I'm going to zoom in here. The character is not going to be super big. I'm going to begin right away by drawing a vertically shaped oval. Okay, kind of an oval, more like a capsule. I think that would be a better way to refer to it. So go ahead and sketch away this cylinder-like capsule. I'm just kind of sketching very, very loosely. Remember to keep your pencil marks light. It's okay to sketch loosely. Just keep your pencil lines extremely, extremely light. Don't be afraid to mark up your paper too. I mean, you might be looking at a fresh, brand new piece of paper and you're just afraid to do anything that might mess it up. Get rid of that fear. Okay, we can't draw with fear. Get rid of it. Okay, from this point, I'm going to let's go ahead and first of all just move on to the body. We're gonna move on to the body here. We can do that just by drawing two little slightly diagonal lines. Maybe about right there. I like that. And we'll just give it a little smile. It's not really a smile, it's just a curved line. And from there, I'll just kind of sketch around the back of the neck. And look at that, you get some form of three-dimensional perspective there. Now, if you notice, the more and more I go over my pencil lines, the darker it appears, the more my lines become more solidified, more solid. Okay, from this point, what we're going to do is just draw a line like right here. Maybe a line coming down here. Real loose. See, real loose. Keeping it so loose. I'm over exaggerating the looseness right now because I know there's some artists out there that you're scared to make a wrong line. You're nervous about it. Don't be nervous. Just make those lines. Look at that. Sketch away. Cool. I'm liking it so far, how our character's turning out. And then right here, we'll go ahead and just draw on a line here. We'll draw a little line here. And so let's go ahead and give him, I think it's going to be a him, like a robot scooter wheel type of transportation, legs. Yeah, just by having the machinery come down here, and then we'll just draw in the tire right here. Like that. We'll put some little bolts here and here. We'll just put in a little bit of shading to to kind of signify that this is a wheel. Maybe I'll already even add a little bit of shading right here too. And let's go to the actual hands. Maybe the hands for this character, we'll have the arms come out here just briefly. And then maybe a rectangle shape here and here, just for the heck of it. And then we can kind of have these very robotic pincher hands. Not too sharp, because it's a nice little cartoony image. We don't want it to be creepy. Do the same thing over here. Make this arm a little bit thinner to match the previous. And put the little bolt right there. And let's go ahead and add in some type of maybe right here we have a line, kind of give it like a, almost like a sports shirt appearance. See, we could do one right here too. And just quickly sketch that in so we know which part is sketched in, which part is darker. And yeah, it's a fun little character. Very, very cartoony. We can go ahead and move on to the ears. For the ears, let's go ahead and just put maybe these half ovals or half circles, whatever you want to call them. Add some more, and then we'll have these lines coming out, little kind of antennas. There we go. That's fun. So he can hear. He's a robot, so he needs to be able to hear with the antennas, and we'll just put some little bolts there. That's how they were installed on our character. Okay, let's do something fun here. Let's show that there is some dimension here in our work, kind of the halfway point of this face oval right here, maybe about right here. We'll go ahead and draw a curved line, and we'll do one here as well. And then let's go ahead and put in the eyes. Now there's all types of different ways we can do the eyes. We can have them off, small, big, ridiculously big. Let's do, I'm gonna put one over here, and then maybe one over here. One problem with not having large eyes, you lose a lot of the expression. And then we need a mouth. We have many, many different mouths we can choose from. And we can just do kind of something small. Be smiling, kind of worried. Simple, do robotic. Okay. All types of different mouths. I want to add a little bit more expression. So I'm going to make him look, yeah, he looks goofy that way. I don't want to make them look goofy. Let's just do simple, very, very simple mouth. Okay. It's kind of a cartoony piece of artwork, so we'll stick with simple. And inside for the brain, we'll do some type of like maybe light bulbs. Maybe we'll draw these almost cylinder shaped light bulbs. I'll go ahead and erase those guidelines. Maybe there'll be one here. And then maybe, let's see, one will be coming out here. Something has to make this robot think. And we'll add little like electricity bolts going through there. It's kind of fun. And maybe we'll even add a regular looking light bulb as well. Just for the heck of it. Probably should erase those guidelines beforehand, but I can go ahead and go back and do it now. Anytime if I'm moving too fast for you, just go ahead and press the pause button here on YouTube and you'll be able to take your own time, or you can actually slow the playback if I'm going too fast. Feel free to do that. Okay, I feel like the head's missing something. Let's go ahead and maybe add in some bolts here. Do we want this guy to have a nose? I kind of like the idea of a nose. Make it higher than normal. And man, there's all types of things we can do. We can kind of do some electronic stuff like that if we want to. That's kind of fun. I'm kind of digging that. We'll go ahead and put some light marks there. And then just zigzag it. There we go. That's fun. So, give them a little bit of shading there. A little bit. And there is the preliminary sketch of our robot character, our sci-fi robot character. So we're going to go ahead and move on to our inks here today. We got the tough part done. We figured out how we want this character to look. So I'm going to put him right here in the page so you can see him super clearly. And then I'll move on to my inks. Or make these blue lines a little bit lighter. You can do that with your own pencil just by taking your eraser and just gently moving it over the lead to make it a little bit lighter. And then now I'm going to go to my inks. I'm going to do more of a, let's see, more of a messy style today. We'll see how this looks. Too messy. I don't like that. I don't want to go that messy. I'll go back to my trusty studio pen. Hey, if you have a pen you like, why change it? Now this is the inking process here. This is going to take some time. So be patient. This is the part of the drawing process where you might want to turn on some good music. And when you're choosing music to draw to, you want to listen to something that calms your heart rate. You want to listen to something that relaxes you. Because this should be a very relaxing process. What you also might be noticing is I'm not tracing my blue pencil lines exactly on areas where I think they need to be improved. I'm improving upon them. And just as I'm turning the screen, in the same way, you probably need to be turning your paper or your sketchbook. Because for most people, there's only so many ways to really draw a straight line with accuracy. I like the kind of silly, goofy look that our character has. I know this is kind of random, but I think my wife is watching Bambi in the other room from the Disney Channel. Now here I'm just going to go ahead and shade in this area. And I could easily just make it all black, but I want to leave evidence of a human touch. There, I need to add a little bit more. This part's a little bit tricky because you don't want to fill up the light bulb. So what you can do is just leave little areas of white that separate it like that. Okay, we're moving on. Oh, I'm gonna we'll add some rings here too. Ooh, I don't like that one. Don't like that one. I didn't know the rings were going to be so hard to ink. There we go. And I want to show which one's in the front. Okay. Move on to the next one. Do the same thing there. Let's see, which way did I make it? Okay, there we go. And let's go back to this part, the body. Now what you can do here, a little neat technique, is you don't have to have all the lines connect. You can, certain parts you can kind of separate them like that, if you want to. Or even more, man. Even go like that, okay? Don't make everything so perfect. There, I have a little bit too much of an angle. Angles, when you have too many angles, too many sharp angles in art, it kind of changes the presence of the character. We want the character to look fun and playful. Sharp angles typically make characters look more menacing. Oops. And these straight lines, if your lines are not straight at all, if you cannot make a nice curved line, be patient. The more you practice, the better you'll get. We're all improving. The people that are the best are the ones that put in a large amount of time. So I'm going to move on here and start to add in some shading. This would be like hatching, such as cross hatching, but we're not crossing right now. And then I think we can probably start to put in some of the color. Oops, add a little line here. Maybe a chin. Just put a few little lines there too. Okay, let's go ahead and move in to work on the color. So what I like to do is I like to have an extra layer just in case we mess up here, but I don't think we're gonna mess up. Let's pull some colors here. What color do we want this robot to be? Let's kind of go very cliche here. We might say a gray color. Now, if we add that, we have gray. Now here's a little technique I don't know if you know about. Instead of just going straight gray, you can also do a bluish gray. And to the eye, when we look at it, we think it's gray, but it's really a grayish blue color, which in my opinion looks a little bit nicer than just the, hueless gray. Now I'm going to go just a tad darker for these areas. No one will even notice, but for the ears. Once you can really switch it up here, maybe do like a very light gray for that part. And let's see, what else do we want to make gray? This is definitely going to be darker. Making sure to fill in all the spots here. And then for the tire, I'm just going to do kind of a more base gray. A few little parts here that I didn't get, so I'll have to go in and do them by hand, which is fine. Could always just paint the background layer too, but hey, this is fine. And let's think about the shirt. An experiment here. Let's do something bright. Whoa. Let's pull that down. Uh-oh. Looks like there's an area in the shirt that is not closed. I found it. Right here. Maybe right here too. Let's try that again with the red. Now the red, you always have to be careful with red, especially when you're doing digital arts. Some people want to get the super saturated red, and they're tempted to do that. I always like to add in desaturated red. Okay. Now we look at that and I think, man, that is really red. So maybe we'll just use the red for the stripes and maybe put in like maybe a yellow. Let's see what the green looks like. Because we're looking for colors that are going to go with the blue as well. And we don't want anything that's going to be too bright. Yeah, I kind of like this kind of more desaturated green. Add in some more gray. And I don't really like to do solid black. I like to get close to black, but I really want those lines to still show. I want to add black in there as well. Oops. So obviously, as we talked about before, at home, you'll probably be using markers or color pencils while doing this. So it's going to take you a little bit longer, but feel free to pause this video. And let's find some yellow. Now here, we always struggle between yellow being too red or orangey and too green. So find the yellow that you really want and see how that holds up here. Let's see. I don't really like that idea, so I'm just going to do a very, very light yellow. Or manually color in between these lines. And some light gray. Throwing some whites there. You're not going to see it too much, but it's there. And then what we can do is throw in some of that bright yellow. Oops, too thick. We can even throw in these marks. Okay, we don't have a whole lot left. Let's go ahead and get some basic colors to put in here just to fill in the nose, maybe a red, blue, and maybe a green. Kind of like those robotic colors. And then we'll keep this part pretty simple. We'll just fill in these little bolts or screws, little caps, whatever you want to call them. Just keep all those pretty simple. Nothing too complicated. This is a simple cartoon. And then maybe for the tips here will kind of make them look like they're getting transmitted radio signal. And then let's go back to that bright yellow. Let's see if I can capture it here. And then from here, we'll just kind of like zigzag it. They don't even all have to really connect because it's like electricity. And let's go ahead and delete the blue layer underneath. Oops. This blue layer. We add another little part there. Throw in a shadow so our character is not just floating in space. something we're going to play around with this a little bit. Make it super, super light. Or pull it down. And then even make it lighter. And yeah, so there's a start. Now I'm going to do something else, and this is to add a little bit more style to this character. I'm going to go back and kind of add in some cross hatching or some hatching here to make the character come to life a little bit more, to give it more of an actual style. So just going to kind of throw in these lines. They look kind of bad at first if you're not used to them, but once we step back and don't purposely look at them, they kind of just blend in. One of the key things about doing these lines is not to think about it too much. I'll throw in a few here and there. If you want to, you can even cross them too. Do something like this. We can throw in a few here. If you want to, you can even like cross a few there too. I want those lines to be a tad bigger. You can go through and even add a little bit more detail when you're doing this. And let's see, what else? And it's kind of a fun thing about art, is just kind of asking, like, what else can you add to your artwork to make it stand out here? It gives a little bit more flavor when you do that. So I'm having fun here, just kind of sketching away with these little hash marks. Cool. Let's see, anything else to add here? If you have a white gel pen, those are always fun. You can kind of always go through and add in like some little reflection marks where you see fit. Okay. Maybe even right here. Maybe even there's just one right here. And there are things that people wouldn't really even notice. They're fun to just throw in. And let's zoom out here and look at our character. I think he works. I think he works. One other thing I can show you guys how to do, if you want to make your artwork look a little bit more gritty, instead of super, super clean, you can take your ink pen, I'm going to open up a new layer for this just so I can change it in case you guys don't like it. Just kind of throw in just like these little specks. And what it does, it kind of just makes it look a little bit more imperfect. Some people like that style, some people don't. It's a little fun little technique if you like it. Okay, so I'll leave that up to you what you want to do. So I've given you a lot of freedom here how to create your character. This sci-fi, really cool looking robot guy with these weird light bulb brain thinking RAM. Yeah, I'm just making up stuff here because I don't even know what they are. But there we go. There's our character. Super fun. Thanks for joining today in Tripp's art class. Hopefully you're having a good time, you're using your time wisely, and you're encouraging other people. Okay, encourage other people with your words and encourage other people with your art. I'll catch you later.